Alright, so here we are, part 2 of the camber plate installation. So I got the new camber plate in, all of them are good now. If you remember last video, I was having a dilemma of how I want to kind of install it, either on the bottom or top. I still want to do the bottom. So I've got this put on here on the camber plate, and I want to show you that if the camber plate is all the way maxed out towards the front, there is a little bit of playroom here that can be shaved off. So I'm going to go ahead and shave a little bit of this off on both the fronts, and a good way to do that would be to clamp both of these together, clamp them both together, and then grind it. So I know that I'm grinding each one the same, and then so I'm going to grind just a little bit off of each one. And then I'm going to bevel the top and bottom so that it fits in that curve of the top of the strut tower, because it curves down on all the sides, so when you have a straight edge, it doesn't want to go in there flat. So if I bevel it, put a round on it, it's going to fit in here pretty good. So I'm going to shave some of it off. Hopefully it's going to fit in here better, and then I will cut a little bit more of this off, and then just do some finishing touches on this and make it look pretty, and then pretty close to welding it. And I also wanted to show you that even if I was welding it from the top, there would still need to be some shaved off because there is a slight overhang. I'm assuming they do that just because cars might have different size strut towers, just differences from the factory. So I guess they leave that a little bit just so you can shave down to fit your application. Alright, so it's about time for another update. I've got it beveled, and I've got it shaved quite a bit off. It took a lot longer than I thought, but when you're just shaving down a little bit at a time, it's going to take a while. So it's shaved down. This thing is pretty much perfect. So since it's got that beveled edge, it's going to fit in there nice. And I spent quite a bit more time making a nice circle here, kind of squared off the sides on it, and so here's basically what it's looking like. So that's pretty much it. It's not perfectly symmetrical yet. It might actually scoot over a little bit. It's looking good. The corners aren't perfect yet, but this is just a general outline, and I've only got, actually at this angle right here, it looks like I don't need to shave any more off, but I might put a little divot in this. So this side's pretty much good. I'm gonna go ahead and get this other side cut out, and then I will maybe lay some string if I can find some, or I'm just gonna lay some straight tubing across and start getting these centered up. Okay, so I got this side pretty well cut out. I left the same amount of gap over here as I did the other side, but check this out. So I put this up under here and I slide it all the way to the front. look, there's no problem there. I don't even have to shave any off on this side. And this is the same camber plate I've been using to test fit on both sides. So I don't know what's up with that. I need both sides to look and be symmetrical. So even though this side fits in there better, I'm gonna just scoot it back a little bit so that both sides are gonna be the same. Not really sure what that tells me, but I mean, it could just be just a little bit different from the factory. So on this side, I started grinding down all the paint here, and I mean, getting one step closer to welding. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side, and I'll record that. Okay, so I've got the top of the strut towers, both of them cleaned up, and I also went ahead and cleaned the bottom of it. So this is all good metal to weld to. Even back up in there, it's all shiny metal. Did that on both sides. Now what I need to do is I need to go ahead and spend some time making both of these symmetrical. So having these lines come back the same on both sides and making sure that the same amount of gap is on both sides. And I also need to figure out a way to get this mounted up in there so that I can put a string or a straight bar across and then just tweak them ever so little, and then maybe put a tack on them. But I need something to hold them up there, so I'll try and rig up something. What? What? Alright, so it's been a little bit since my last update, but I've got both sides symmetrical, so they're both even, straight, good. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but I went ahead and cleaned all that already, and I've been working on these plates now. So I've ground off all of the coating on top, sanded them down quite a bit, and did front and back, or top and bottom. Now I need to go ahead and set up a system to hold them in place. I was using these clamps here, but they kind of get in the way because I want to use maybe a string or something, or I might just measure it and put marks. But I need both sides to be symmetrical, so I need to get something straight across there. I might just get a pipe or something. Alright, so got an update here. I've actually got the camber plates tacked in. There's one there and then there's one back here. Same on the other side. Got a tack there and then one back on the other side. But I wanted to show you guys what I used to basically make sure they're straight. So I did have a piece of wire going across and that worked pretty good, but I went ahead and got this straight bar, and then I kind of engineered some washers on there, so the washers go down straight on both sides and the washers go down into this cutout here. So the washers line each of them up straight with each other, because obviously that bar is straight, so then the washers go down there and then that keeps them straight with each other. So then I just had to deal with them being level like this and then back and forth. So then I just eyed it up there and so that's where I'm at now.
That sounded good.
Did pretty good. Alright, so I just got them welded in. There's what it looks like. Did a pretty good job. You know, I did the best I could. Hopefully you can see that pretty good. Yeah, you know, pretty good beads all the way around until, you know, got to the tack weld where I had to stop. And, you know, I'm not really a good enough welder to do all of this in one pass, so I would kind of, whenever it would start to curve too much, I would stop and then continue. But I mean, obviously a professional welder could probably do this whole thing in one pass, but you know, I think I did pretty good for just an average welder. But now that I got the tops done, I'm going to go ahead and do the bottoms. So just, you know, it doesn't really need too much. I'm not gonna try and make it look real pretty, but it can be welded on the bottom too, so I might just lay some big tack welds in there and it'll be secure. So I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like with the coilover in there. Alright, so here is what it looks like in there. You know, it's welded in there. It's gonna stay. Still need to weld the bottom side, but that's what it looks like. So got those welded in. I just need to go ahead and do the bottoms, and then the next video we'll probably go ahead and start cutting out the rears. One little problem I got over here is that my welds came a little bit too close to this cutout here, like right in here, so the screw kind of hits on the welds before it goes all the way back. So I'm just going to need to kind of round this out on both sides. So I just need to go ahead and do that, and then it'll be good. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.